Envy. It is described in all Abrahamic religions as a disease that contaminates the soul. It quickly develops into a powerful emotion that poisons the purest of hearts, and was the cause of the first murder committed by man. Since the beginning of time, it has caused nothing but utter destruction. The Soviet Union, 1922. After a long and traumatic, bloody civil war, the survivors had to pick themselves up to start a new life. Times were hard, the pain from losing loved ones intense, and the weather cold. But some people never lost hope. They were determined to make a good life for their families, and eventually they succeeded and became very productive farmers. As time went on, they were able to own properties and to afford the better things in life from the sweat of their hard work. They also grew the bulk of the crops that everyone depended on for survival. At the same time, while this was happening, there were many other people who tried to get into farming and tried to establish their own businesses, but they were not hardworking enough, and eventually they failed. They saw how the other hard-working farmers became prosperous, and day by day they grew bitter and resentful of their success. Those in positions of power saw the frustration of the unsuccessful people and planned to use it for their own political agenda, which was for the government to own all the farmlands and all the livestock. So they gathered the most prominent intellectuals at the time and used them to brainwash the unsuccessful people into believing that the cause of their failure wasn't their fault, and that it was actually the fault of the successful farmers and business owners. They told them that they were taking all the lands and taking all the jobs and making all the money, and that it wasn't fair. The intellectuals defined success as oppression and as theft, and it fed the victim mentality, which fueled anger within the communities. When it reached the tipping point, the government gave the people the green light to take action into their own hands, and without any hesitation, the people formed into mobs with an intent to destroy. They invaded the homes of the successful farmers and business owners, raped their women, killed most of their men. Not even their children were spared. Their rage blinded them from any mercy. As a result, there were no more hard-working farmers to grow crops. And this triggered the Ukraine famine, which caused millions of people to die of starvation. This story, at its core, was not about a people's hatred for power or economic inequality. It was a hatred for competence, and it was driven by envy. Envy can develop into a destructive force, but only if you allow it to control you. Like seeing people on social media dining at the finest restaurants, traveling around the world, driving luxury cars, and hating them for it. So how does one deal with envy? Psychologists say that envy can actually transform into a motivating force, but only if you think like this. This way of thinking can motivate you to advance further. It helps with setting your goals and calibrating your habits to align them in a direction that gets you to where you want your ambitions to take you. In Islam, we are taught by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to look at those who are less fortunate than we are. It makes us grateful, and it helps us to appreciate what we have that others don't. One of Allah's names is Al-Razzaq, which means the provider. He provides wealth, sustenance, and health to whom He wills. Some people are more blessed than others in this world, and some people are more deprived of certain blessings. We are all tested in different ways, and these tests expose our faults and also expose our weaknesses. Our awareness of our faults enable us to rectify those aspects of our character, and when we react with patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards us in the hereafter.
أم يحسدون الناس على ما آتاهم الله من فضله فقد آتينا آل إبراهيم الكتاب والحكمة وآتيناهم ملكا عظيما